Once upon a time, I didn't know how to cook for myself. I literally only knew how to cook scrambled eggs and heat our pan-fried Vienna sausage and cook rice. At one point, and I was an adult too. I was a young adult, and that was all I could cook. I mean, thank God that I could cook at least that. But it was through my own rehabilitation journey of understanding what is causing inflammation, because I had a serious case of fibromyalgia at one point. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, got it from pharmaceutical poisoning, and that radically changed everything. It took a year and a half for me to figure out that certain foods I was eating was triggering the fibromyalgia. Now, initially, what caused that intolerance was the pharmaceuticals, because that's when everything changed. That's when all the aches started happening. It was a serious case of antibiotic poisoning. And it wasn't until 10 years later I realized I had went through a microbiome injury. It took 10 years. I felt like I was wandering the desert for like 10 years, trying all these different therapies till I realized that I had a microbiome injury. But in the first years of that journey, I had figured out, because I was so sick and tired of feeling that way, that it was gluten that was causing or triggering all this inflammation. Because I did a little experiment. I was researching down the rabbit hole after a year and a half of complete misery, and I came across a naturopath. Naturopath said gluten is one of the most common inflammatory foods that the modern world consumes regularly. And I realized that at that point, yeah, every single meal I ate had gluten. So he suggested that I do a challenge. Just go 10 days. 10 days without gluten, see how you feel. Lo and behold, I did those 10 days, and let me tell you, I did not know what to eat. I had to learn and figure out what I can eat, because I was so tunnel vision, so accustomed to my limiting belief that I just love baked goods, I love baked food. And it was an addiction. It was basically a gluten addiction, which is very common. It's a starch sugar addiction. The gluten or the starch breaks down as sugar in our body, glucose, and it is a food addiction. Now, after those 10 days, I kid you not, all of the inflammation in my body that was 24/7 for a year and a half, where my body just always felt like it was on fire, it was debilitating, it prevented me from actually living my life, and I was in complete misery. After 10 days, 10 days of no gluten, all of that fiery, achy joints was gone. But the problem then that I realized was that I had developed all of these compensations due to just always being in pain, always leaning to one side. So I developed a lot of imbalances in my body, not working out as much, a lot of different muscles atrophied, getting weak. But there was a light at the end of the tunnel. So this was the beginning of my journey of learning how to nourish my body with foods that are not inflaming my body. And this plays a tremendous role on our mental, emotional health as well. Inflammatory foods and foods that are just displacing, where they cost more resources to digest, metabolize, and eliminate than the nutrition it actually provides. I realized that by learning how to start cooking for myself, I could tailor a specific diet. And this was like no I mean, it kind of went down the lines of paleo, and I still eat somewhat paleo-ish to this day. More of a intermittent ketogenic paleo type of diet. But this, I realized, is one of the most sacred acts of caring for yourself. And people who do not learn how to cook for themselves, people who are just susceptible to everyone else's cooking and everyone else's ingredients because they don't learn how to cook for themselves, I notice suffer the most health issues. They suffer the most health issues because they do not learn how to cook for themselves. But on the other hand, I know people who cook for themselves, but they are not aware of what inflames their body. They are not aware of what is causing cellular dysfunction. They're not aware of what processed displacing foods are that are actually creating a deficit and problem with mineral and nutrient deficiency. And this is, it seems so small, but it is so huge to be able to learn how to cook for yourself and to learn and understand what the 5 processed devils are in the modern food industry that most people are not paying attention to in our modern American world. You can avoid so many things, and this can assist your deep healing tremendously. It connects you back to the essence of eating so it heals. As Hippocrates is generally paraphrased, let thy medicine be thy food and thy food be thy medicine. And that does not mean eating sugar and a lot of starchy foods because it numbs you emotionally. Yes, people can see that as a medicine, but no, I'm talking about eating to where it heals your body. It heals your hormonal system. It heals your gut. There is a way to eat, a way to cook for yourself where you can actually heal your gut, which has a lot to do with the brain-gut connection and your mental emotional health.